the reason that this training came to me is because I've seen this in the group a couple times where people are like, I'm getting lots of no's, I'm getting rejected. Should I lower my price? Right. We're gonna answer that question. Like, people are telling me I'm too expensive. Should I lower my price? We'll address that question. Has anyone ever heard those things on sales calls before? Yeah. No, I'm the only one. All you guys are just like, yes, people just give me money. Which I take my credit card. Do with it what you please. Tip yourself an extra 15%. So I'm sure you're gonna do an amazing job. Right? That's what everyone on here is probably feeling, right? You lucky ones must live in real rich areas. Bunch of rich people you guys know. All the money. They just want to just give it away because they don't value it. It's just like, you take the money. I don't want it anymore. Okay. So I got a doc. In this doc I put together, it started out based on 2 questions, then I actually added a 3rd question to it. Okay. And so these 3 questions are going to create the fundamentals of how we create a pricing strategy. So if you guys are excited for these 3 questions, let's have a little fun today, just like normal. Let's engage, let's participate. Let's get value from this. You guys ready? You guys ready? Type in the chat, we're excited. Play with me, come on. I want to play, I want to have friends. I need some attention right now. Oh, Kitty's on here. So actually, I'll just share my screen and then I'll walk through the story as I do this. But Katie and I have spent the last couple of days creating this, and it's been really fun. And I truly hope that you guys get value from it. So, all right, I'm gonna share my screen here. Cool. Make it big for all the people who can't see good. So, really simple. This is how it all starts with right here. Does anyone know who Dan Kennedy is? Anyone a Dan Kennedy fan? If you don't know Dan, awesome. You guys haven't heard of Dan Kennedy. He's an author. He's a marketer. He's been in the game for a long time. He is the only marketer who has died and came back, resurrected, and is still practicing marketing today. He's been made famous at first, not made famous, but he's been around the game for a long time. But if you guys listen to Russell Brunson, who was a very big internet marketer, he talks about Dan Kennedy a lot. In fact, Russell Brunson bought the company that Dan Kennedy started, which right now is called the No BS Inner Circle. And so Russell Brunson bought that company, which is an info company. And so he talks a lot about Dan Kennedy, but you guys will also hear Alex Hormozi talk about Dan Kennedy as well. Alex was the one who actually turned me on to Dan Kennedy, and I've bought pretty much every book that Dan Kennedy has, and I appreciate him. He's a very smart human, has been in the game for a very, very long time. And this quote is one of the quotes that gets repeated the most in the circle of pricing. And it almost takes you a couple times to see it, hear it, for it to really sink in. But Dan Kennedy says that there's no strategic benefit to being the second cheapest in the marketplace, but there is for being the most expensive. I think the reason why that quote, it hopefully will resonate with this audience right here, is because how many of you guys know a cleaner, stinking solo cleaners, who are charging cheaper than you're charging? How many of you guys know that person? Come on. Come on. Yeah, exactly. Don't they just piss you off? Can't believe they would charge that. Pretty much giving away for free. You're not going to beat that person. In fact, they're not going to win either. They're going to beat themselves, but somebody else will continue to slide in their place. It's a revolving door of people trying to be the cheapest. Okay. And when you realize that you clean for no money, you eventually do something else. So Even if that spot was open in your market, you don't want it because it's a revolving door. But there is one spot that's always open that it's going to scare you a little bit. It's going to make you personally grow. And that's by being the most expensive in your market. Because to be the most expensive, that requires you to actually believe in yourself. That requires you to be able to look in the mirror and be like, you know what, I'm worth this. And that's where most of you guys just stop. You're like, I'm not worth it. I can't charge that. That's crazy. I wouldn't pay that. And that's okay if you've had those conversations. I've had those conversations. I'm sure many of you had those same thoughts have gone in your head as well. But when you are able to make this the ideal to being the most expensive in your market, and you play a different game than everybody, it becomes a lot more fun. You attract a different type of customer. You attract a different type of employee. Most importantly, you're more attractive to yourself. And then you're playing a game that you can play for a much longer period of time. And that's really what this quote, what it really means to me. It's a constant reminder of how do I be the most expensive? Being the most expensive is not a function of money, but it's a function of value. How can I do more? A lot of that is scary. It's like, I have to do more. I have to be better. So that puts a lot on us as owners to personally grow. So, okay. So with that frame, let's talk about how to actually tactically price your cleaning company. And so the first question we have to ask ourselves, back to whose cleaning company is this? Is this the customer's cleaning company? Is this Oregon's cleaning company, or is this your cleaning company? Right. Listen, Taylor, right? This is not Oregon's cleaning company. This is yours. So you have to ask yourself the first question: how much money do you want to make? Okay. Does everybody in here know how much money they want to make? What you guys should put in the chat. Share. Put it in a monthly take home. How much monthly do you want to take home? All of it? Not a great answer. Put a number to it. 10,000. Yeah. Put in there what you want to make. You could be making $0 right now. I don't care. How much money do you want to make? If you're going to go through all this hassle of doing this thing we call business that requires all these skill sets that we have to learn, we're going to get all this resistance along the way. What dollar amount at the end of the month makes it worth it? How much money do you want to make? Know that number first. Okay. This is how much money you're going to take home. So this is not top line revenue. This is money you put in your pocket. This is money that you get to go to the grocery store with, that you pay your mortgage with or your rent with. You get to go out on date night with. You get to go buy sushi with. How much money do you want to take home? It doesn't have to be super high. You literally can just be like, what do you actually want to make? What is like, if you were to make this much money, like, dang, that's worth it. All this work is worth it if I make this much money. What's that number? Because of course we all want to make $100,000 to take home. We want to be the millionaires, multimillionaires. But how much money do you want to make from this cleaning business? Be like, this is worth it. This is worth it for me to get on all these conversations with prospects who say my price is way too high, to say, I can't believe you charge that much. What makes it worth it? Okay. Get some yum yums. That's right. Okay. So that's the first question that we got to ask ourselves. The second question: how much do you want to physically work? How much do you want to physically work? Because technically, you could probably make $10,000, $15,000 a month being a solo cleaner. I'm sure some of you guys maybe have been in that situation before, you're like, this is really hard. I don't want to do all this physical work. Right. This will also evolve as you evolve. Right. But for right now, how much do you want to physically work? Like, if you're on this call, most likely is because you want to transition. Like, if you're a solo cleaner, then you're on this call because you want to figure out how to get out of cleaning. And so that's how we, like, most people on here, like, haven't made that decision to get out of cleaning. But the next physical work is not so much as physical as it is doing sales, doing admin, doing recruiting, other little services that you can be doing for your business, payroll, bookkeeping, right? So how much of that do you actually want to physically work in your business? And there's no right or wrong answer. This will evolve, but how much do you actually want to do in your business? You must ask yourself that question. Okay. And then the last question is, how much do you want to pay your cleaners? And the reason why this is important is because if you think about that, you're not going to clean anymore. Right? Like, what offer do you want to make somebody that you feel confident in, that when somebody applies, or you're just talking to somebody who's looking for a job, you're like, come work for me. Like, I got you. Like, you need to work for me. I can pay you really well. How much do you want to pay your cleaners? And think about this from like a dollar per hour standpoint. How much do you want to pay them per hour that you feel good about, that you feel confident, like, if I can pay this dollar per hour, I can attract good people, good values, good humans who are reliable, who show up, who take responsibility. What do you want to pay those people? Okay. Those are the three questions you must know. Okay. So now that you guys have explored these questions, Katie and I put together this man-hour pricing calculator. So this doc that you guys are seeing right now, you guys will get access to this once we get through this. So make sure you guys stay on here, get access to this Google Doc, which will also have this calculator on here, which we're gonna go right now. Okay, this calculator is something that I did the first draft, and I was like, Katie, come break this, and she broke it. She broke it hard. And so thanks to Katie, this calculator is much better. I'm sure if we had just weeks to spend on this, we could probably make it even better, but it's really good. So does anyone want to volunteer to be part of this? Does anyone want to be part of this game that we're playing? We can make this real interactive. Hold on. We'll chat up. Does anyone want to play? Okay. Sorry, I gotta put my chat up here a little bit. Okay. Who's Jessica? You gotta have your camera on if you're gonna play, though. Whoever's gonna play has gotta have a camera on. Jessica, you got your camera on? Let's see you. I see you. Yep. Amazing. Okay. I think I muted you. Jessica, what's going on, girl?
Hi, Logan.
How are we doing?
Pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Amazing. Okay, so you want to play? Want to have some
Sure.
fun?
Sure, let's go.
Okay. Do you have your three numbers? Do you know what your three numbers are? Do you have the same right now? But
I do. Yeah.
Can you guys give Jessica some love first off for volunteering, and I'll give us an example that we can follow. Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Okay. Jessica's the brave soul here. So I'm going to pull my screen back up here. We got our calculator up. So take home. Jessica, how much money do you want to take home?
20K.
Amazing. So really simply, guys, when you guys have this calculator, you're just going to plug in how much money you want to take home, which is $20,000. Make this just a little bit smaller. Okay. So you want to take home 20K. And then what do you want to pay your cleaners per hour?
It's like $20. $20 an hour.
Perfect. Okay. And then do you know on average right now how many hours your cleaners work roughly?
Oh, let's see. It's probably 10 to 12 hours a week. It's not
Okay.
much.
Cool. This is great. So the way that this calculator works is you guys can see in yellow means you input your data. So these are the questions you ask yourself is how much money do you want to take home? So Jessica wants to take home $20,000. She wants to pay her cleaners $20 an hour. Those are the things that you input. Now the green is also input, but this is based on your data. Okay. I guess I could rephrase this is that it becomes more accurate if you use your data. Okay. And so that's why I asked Jessica how many hours her cleaners work. 10. So you guys would input this depending on how many hours on average your cleaners work. And so the next things that you put in here, you can put in your percentages of the main categories that are going to be on a cleaning business P&L. So you're going to have your cleaning and supplies, which is your COGS. You're going to have, if you have a sales person, if you have an admin, if you have a recruiter, your marketing for both sales and recruiting, your budget here, your liability and workers' comp, softwares, and then miscellaneous. So I plugged in our percentages, and for the sake of this conversation I'm doing with you guys, we're just going to leave these as is. But with asking Jessica right now, when I ask the question, how much you want to work, like what roles, like what do you want to continue to do in your cleaning business in order for you to make $20,000 a month? Because this is going to change basically how much revenue you need to make in order for you to take home $20,000. So when I asked that question, what did you write down?
I wrote down 10 and I want to do the admin stuff. I don't want to do the cleaning part of it.
Okay. So you're not gonna do any cleaning. So the way this is set up is that 55% is probably the higher end of how much you'll pay for cleaning and supplies. You could definitely get away with paying less, but this is in our business, we do absolutely zero cleaning. And so we're on probably the upper end. We pay about 55% in both cleaning and supplies. So if you did do cleaning, you could drop this percentage down. Okay. For sales, we don't do any sales in our business either. And so if you did have a salesperson, it would be about 5% of your total revenue. So do you have a salesperson in your business?
No.
Okay. But to make $20,000, you want to have a salesperson, correct?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So for right now, we're going to leave this in here. So we're going to do what I would call like an ideal, and then we're going to come back to kind of where we are. Okay.
Perfect.
Admin, about 3%. Okay. Hiring and recruiting would be about 5%. You said that you want to keep on, you want to keep some of the admin for yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I just feel like I need to do a little bit of work. So
it's the guilt. It's
yeah, I know. That's terrible.
Business guilt. What if I don't do anything and my business actually runs without me? Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's take this because Jessica feels guilty about she wants to do some work. It's totally fine. Recruiting and hiring. Do you want to continue to do that piece or do you want to hand that off to somebody else?
I'd kind of like to hand that off to someone else too.
Okay. We'll pay somebody. Okay. Marketing and sales. So right now, this 5% is just ad spend. So if you want somebody to do your marketing for you, then we have to add an additional 5% to this. So right now in your business, do you do marketing? Like doing ads and all that stuff? Okay.
A little bit.
So do you want to keep that or do you want to have a third-party service do that for you?
No, I want to keep that. I think that's kind of fun.
Perfect. Cool. Liability and workman's comp, you're not gonna be able to change that. And software, you're not gonna be able to change that. Right.
Yeah.
Now, again, like in here, you could change it based on your business, but you're always going to have those expenses.
Yeah.
Okay. And then miscellaneous, this is for, there's other things, right, that your business has that I just account for. There's an extra 2% at least in here. Okay.
Right.
So based on your ideal situation, in order for you to be able to take $20,000 home, your business needs to make $86,000 a month of revenue, which is $1 million. Who would have thought?
Oh.
Right. And so it's kind of cool because you actually can match up your P&L right now. Again, if you want to make this super accurate, guys, you take your P&L and you actually figure out what percentage of, like, when you look at these categories, you want to see what percentage that each of these categories are in reference to your overall revenue. Okay, so when your business is making 66,000, or excuse me, when it's making $86,000 in revenue, you're going to be paying $47,000 in wages primarily, and a little bit of supplies. Okay. You're going to be paying about $4,000 for a salesperson. We're not going to pay an admin, nothing. We're going to keep that because it makes us feel good. Pay about $4,000 for a recruiter. Pay about $4,000 in marketing. Again, this is both for both client acquisition and cleaner acquisition. Liability, workman's comp, about $2,600. It's not insane. You're going to pay $2,600 just for insurance that you hopefully will never ever use. It's wild. And then $1,700 in insurance, and then $1,700 in miscellaneous expenses. Okay, so that's per month. Below that, you can see the weekly cost. So now let's move down here to our cleaner hourly rate. And so we want to pay our cleaners $20 an hour. And based on these numbers, the whole point of what we're talking about with this conversation was, what do we price, right? So right now, based on you wanting to pay your cleaners $20 an hour and keeping this margin, then you would be charging $50 a man hour. What do you currently charge right now?
It ends up to be about 45 a man hour.
Cool. So the way that this works is that you want to see what your cleaners take home. So again, while you're paying 55%, mind you, your cleaners ain't taking home 55%.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have other expenses that you can't directly pay them. Because you're also paying their taxes, you're paying their social security, their all these other taxes that you have a business owner to pay that you can't pay your staff for. So you can only give your cleaner about 40%. And that's right. And so based on that, you need to charge $50 a man hour. Okay. In order for your formula for you to make the amount of money you want to make, $50 a man hour. Okay. Cool. Now, if you see something over here, the thing that sticks out to me is this. In order to do this, you need 40 cleaners. Right. And so this right here is actually something that I see. I've seen this with a lot of cleaning businesses that I've had the opportunity to help, is that if we get this number up, you become much more efficient, which makes everything else more attainable. So this number is very hard to do. But if we were able to even just double this to 20, for example, we obviously would need half the cleaners.
Yeah.
Right. And look at this. Like a cleaner is going to be taking home $400 a month versus if we were at 10, they're taking home $200 a week. So are you going to get awesome, amazing people who are going to be taking home $200 a week?
Not likely.
Right. So this was something that Katie added in. She's like, how many cleaners? So again, like, I think that's why this number is important, because if you actually want to take $20,000 a month home, like, what do you see as the thing that you need to focus on?
Client acquisition.
Yep. And then what about this number right here? Because again, like we can acquire clients that we want, but how many cleaners do you currently have?
I've got 2 active cleaners at the moment. Yeah.
So if I were to tell you, Jessica, be excited, you only got to get 38 more cleaners in order for you to take home $20,000 a month. How excited are you going to be right now?
Not crazy excited.
It seems very far off.
Yeah.
right?
Thanks
And
for
so
plugging my numbers in.
100%. I'm not done with you. Don't leave yet.
Yeah.
I just want to see for a second because I can't see when I have my screen shared, but like, does that seem that it's close when you have to get 38 more cleaners in order for you to take home 20,000? Does that seem?
No, that's seems unattainable, at least here. It's small
100%.
town.
So with that being said, if you really want to take home $20,000, there's some things that you can do to make it so it's more realistic you actually can do that. So we take away the emotion. We just say, what's the data? What's the data say? Okay, so let's pull this back up here. And so I'm going to help you through this because this is the first time you're doing this, and this is what I do all day long. I literally just look at numbers and try to figure out what is the equations, what are the formulas in order for us to be able to get to where we want to go as efficiently as possible. Okay, so Kitty, are you still on here as well? There you are.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to bring you in here, the wise one who runs an actual $100,000 a month cleaning company. So tell me, when you look at these numbers, what is the thing that in order for Jessica to be able to take home $20,000 a month, what is the biggest thing that you see as a way to help her get on track?
Yeah, I think the first easiest, most low-hanging fruit is just to optimize your current cleaners. If your current cleaners are only working 10 to 12 hours a week, like how do you just give them a full load?
Yeah, well, it's because I don't have enough clients.
Hmm.
So I'm giving them the load they have. Yep, there you go.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
say marketing is fun and you want to hang on to it, but is it working? Is the next question.
No.
Cool. This is great. So yeah, so ideally we want to have more cleaner hours, but if we don't have the work for them, then we can't give them the hours, right? So this is why we go back to the data. So how much money are you investing right now in your marketing?
This month it's been like probably $300 a month.
Okay.
So it's pretty little yet.
Yeah. And so, and as a percentage though of your top line, how much is your top line?
Oh, that's a good question. It's probably, let's see, like $4,000.
Okay, 300 divided by 4,000. Yeah, so you're at about 7.5%. So yeah, when you're growing, you'll definitely, because the numbers will scale up a little bit. You'll definitely need to spend a little bit more on marketing to begin with to get that momentum going.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, a little off topic here, but are you into the masterclass?
Yes, I've been through it once and now I'm working on the second go around.
Okay, I definitely recommend going through the marketing section specifically, and then watching the masterclass marketing, and then moving on to inside the new masterclass. Are you into the new masterclass? That's a better question.
Yeah, that's the one I'm working on.
Amazing, amazing. And so in the new marketing masterclass, there's a marketing section, and start going through like how to build Facebook ads, how to do Google ads, and just going through those so you understand the mechanics of how to run paid advertising.
Okay.
Because once you solve the marketing problem, then at this point, it becomes, you have 2 cleaners. It sounds like you want to fill a schedule. And so if we're able to, let's just say we're able to double the amount of hours they're working, we're going to be able to shortcut our process by about half in order for us to get this $20,000 take home. Okay. Okay. Another thing that we can do as well. So right now, this is our ideal situation. We don't want to work, but we need to work. So right now, who's doing sales?
I'm the one doing sales.
Okay. So right now, let's put this model like out. We're going to put 0% because you're doing sales. Okay. So we get to make more money because we don't need to pay a salesperson. Who's doing the hiring right now?
I'm doing the hiring.
Amazing. So now we can change this to 0, right? And do you have anyone doing admin, or are you doing admin?
I'm doing the admin.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now look at this. Now, because you're willing to work more, now, how much revenue do you need to bring in order for you to actually take home $20,000 a month?
Yeah, that makes it a lot more manageable looking.
If you're willing to do more, you can get there faster.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
Okay. And now, instead of having to hire 38 cleaners, let's just go back to 10 for a second. So to do this, we would still need 28 cleaners, but if we were to double this, which is very realistic, in our fact, Kitty, in our company, how much do our cleaners average?
28.
Yeah, cool. So this is pretty conservative.
Mhm.
So 20, that means you need 14 cleaners in order for you to take home 20,000. Okay. And let's just see, we could even get to 25 here. So you get to 25, you would need 11 cleaners. Could you do that?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Okay. So again, this is where when you guys get this, this calculator, you guys plug in your numbers, and depending on what you're willing to do or what you can do, it's gonna be dependent on how much you're gonna be able to take home. But knowing what you want to take home, now that you know just how much you want to take home, now it's like, okay, what if I just get 11 cleaners and I get them 25 hours a week? Now, the thing you're talking about in this situation is that your constraint is marketing, which is a solvable thing, right?
Yeah.
There's trainings on there. There's ways to learn the skill. And then once you get rid of that constraint, your next constraint is going to be, well, who's going to actually clean these houses that I have now sold? Those will be your cleaners. Okay.
Wow. Thanks very much.
Is that helpful?
That's super helpful. Thank you very much for breaking that down. That's amazing.
Sure. Okay. Will you guys give Jessica some love? Thank her for being bold and sharing an example with everybody on here. Also, just as a side note, James, will you drop the link for the new masterclass? So if you guys are not part of the new masterclass, the old masterclass is now gone. It happened faster than I wanted it to happen as I'm making the transition. Domains. Anyway, the old masterclass is gone. So if you were in the old masterclass, you need to sign up for the new masterclass. It is free, and it is even better than the first masterclass. Let's see here. We got the link in there yet? Oh, it's in there, James. It's at the very top. I changed it. Very, very top. Yeah. So make sure you guys are in the new masterclass. Okay, so Gregorio, this is good. So anyone who's getting this error when you said you have yet to enroll in any courses, let me show you guys. I'm just gonna walk you through this process because this has happened a couple times, and I totally understand why it can be confusing. Oops, I showed the wrong screen. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, so this is the new masterclass. So you have to click create your free masterclass account. Even if you had an old masterclass account, you must hit this button. You must actually do this. So anyone who clicked on this button, you got sent to here, and then you probably did this. You probably hit sign up. Don't do that. Click on this, create your free masterclass account. Put your name in here, and then you'll get an email, which will allow you to sign into your new masterclass account. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Okay, we got some questions in the chat. Does anyone have questions on this? So Okay, before I get too excited here. Okay, so somebody asks, what is your take on offering cleaners benefits such as health and life insurance? Yeah, it's a good question. I think that a lot of times as small business owners, like we want to like break the mold and we want to do something different. And we want to like do things our way. And like the standard in the cleaning industry is that people don't offer cleaners benefits such as health and life insurance. And there's a reason for that. It's because they just don't stick around long enough for it to make sense. And there's not enough margin already. Like it's already tight. You guys saw the almost like the cleaners already take up 55% of all money bringing in. So every dollar you make, 55 cents of it is just going out the door right away. It's going right to just being able to fulfill the work. So it makes it tough. And if given the choice, a cleaner would prefer money today rather than a benefit tomorrow. And as much as we want to argue with that, that's the way it is. That's all. Okay. Another question that I see down here is when it comes to your man hour rating, like how much do you charge a man hour? The reason why it's important, why I asked Jessica earlier, how much money that she wants to pay her weight or her cleaners is going to dictate what your man hour rate is. Okay. So like she wanted to pay her cleaners $20 an hour. Well, let's say she wanted to pay her cleaners $25 an hour. You can see that your man hour rate goes up. So how much you charge is going to be a function of how much money you want to make and how much you want to pay your cleaners. That's really it. Okay. So if I want to pay my cleaners $26 an hour because I want to be able to pay my cleaners more, I want to be able to give them an opportunity, I want to be excited about offering them an opportunity, I need to pay them more. So that means if I want to pay them $26 an hour, I need to charge $65 an hour. And when I'm on the phone call with somebody and they say, Logan, you're so expensive. My response, yes, I agree. You know how much my cleaners make? Like we pay our cleaners extremely well. They're super reliable. They show up, they're accountable. And I promise you, they will leave your house with that 5-star feeling. And that's what you pay for us. And if you don't want that, that's cool. Okay, that's it. Like that is the rebuttal. It's like, yes, we are. And this is why, because I'm paying for talent. That's really it. And no matter what, like there's always going to be a segment of the population that is never going to buy. And there's always a segment of the population that is going to buy no matter what. And so for as many people that tell you you're too expensive, you're forgetting about all the people who don't say a thing. They're just like, okay, cool. Sign me up. Send me the contract. When can he be here? And it's because our brains are focused on the fear of rejection. And so what this does, it just says that I want to pay my cleaners this much money. And so here's what I need to charge. It becomes logical. Like, yes, I wish I could charge less and make more. But the math says that if I charge $65, then I can pay my cleaners $26 an hour on average. That's it. Right? On average, my cleaners can take home $650 a week. And if I can actually get them more hours and make them more efficient, I can get them taking home $800 a week. Right? So to answer your question about the actual man-hour rate, it's like what you charge, 55, 65, 75, 85, it really comes down to how much you want to pay your cleaners. And just understanding, like this belief, this is something that I learned when we owned a gym. So for any of you guys don't know my history, like I owned a gym for 10 years, a micro gym, a personal training / group training gym where we sold value, right? It wasn't your big LA Fitness or your Planet Fitness where it was a come and go membership. But Jessica, when you came into my gym, like you were getting a personalized nutrition plan and accountability, and then you also got workouts. Okay. Some of those were in group settings, some of those were in one-on-one settings. And so it was a function of price. Like you paid more for one-on-one than you did group. That makes sense, right? You paid more to also get the nutrition and the weekly accountability than you did to just have the gym membership itself. Okay. So there was a period in my gym career where I was charging $100 a month. Okay. $100 a month. And I thought it was a lot of money. And I had about 30 clients. And then I stumbled upon this guy named Alex Ramosi. Some of you guys might know who he is. Back in 2017, nobody knew who he was, including myself. And somehow this stranger, he convinced me to buy his gym launch program. And he told me that he could fill my gym up in 30 days. And so he convinced me. I said yes. And in 30 days, I went from having 35 clients or 36 clients. It took me 3 years to get those clients. And then Alex, what he provided me was a marketing and sales system and an offer, a value offer it was a $500 offer for 6 weeks, which at that time was almost 5 times more than I was charging. And I signed up 105 people in 30 days. And it was all based on a value perception. And so what I learned from that was that it wasn't about the actual money itself, but it was about the value perception that the person was buying. And so when it was coming to cleaning, the buying decision from buying something at $55 or $60 or $65 or even $70 per man hour, it's the same buying decision. From an actual logistics standpoint, like all those are going to be less than $1,000. Like if you take into account for that, most cleans are, let's just say that we have a 10-hour clean and we say $70, that would be $70 per man hour, that'd be $700 clean. Like most of our cleans are all going to be under $1,000, which means they're all the same buying decision. Under $1,000, same buying decision. Okay. But we get in our heads that the client knows the difference between 65 or 75 or 55. And then they're like, yeah, but this one person, they're like, you're too expensive because you're charging $55 an hour. That's the 5%, right? It's the 5% you focus on, but you don't want to focus on the other side of the coin who just was like, just take my credit card. I don't care. Okay. But ultimately, how you have confidence in your pricing is that right there, is that the reason why you charge your rate is because you want to pay your cleaners a wage. That's it. So you can hold true, because if you lower your price, guess who you're giving a pay cut to? You're basically telling your cleaners that you don't value them. Like, I don't think you do a good job. You know what? You're actually worth less. And so this is a psychological game that we're playing, that we're trying to fight this game with logic, right? So that's the value of the sheet, is that you can put some logic to your decision on how you're pricing. And you can feel confident that when somebody says you're too expensive, and you say, yeah, I pay my cleaners a lot. I love my cleaners. They do a great job. And if we're going to actually go out to your home, like, I want to do an amazing job. And we're not for everybody, but if you want an amazing job and you want 100% satisfaction guarantee, whatever your guarantee is, our guarantee is that we will make it right. Like if we have to come back multiple times, we'll make sure we get it right. That's it. Okay. And guess what? It works. We sell a lot of people because of that guarantee. And it puts a lot of pressure on us as a company, but also puts a lot of pressure on our cleaners to perform as well. And when they don't perform, we put pressure on them. Likewise, like it all comes around, like all put pressure on ourselves to grow. And that's why we're the most expensive in our town. And so we sit up top because we're willing to take that risk. Back to the very first thing that was on the sheet. There's no strategic benefit to be in the second cheapest marketplace, but there is to be the most expensive. And in every single one of your markets, the probability that you have the opportunity to take this position is probably there. So I'm going to answer Guy's question here in a moment. James, will you drop the link to this pricing sheet so you guys have access to this? So make sure you guys grab the sheet. James just dropped it in the chat. make sure you guys grab that. Go save it. There you go. I see people on there. Grab it because you're not going to see this one again. It's not going to be on the replays. It's only for you guys for showing up. So appreciate you guys for being here, participating. Grab this. You're going to want that. You want that calculator. This is a good one. People are really going to be bummed that they missed this one, but you guys are here. So grab that doc. Mind you that that calculator is inside the doc. So there's not 2 links. There's just one. Okay. Cool. Guy, what's up, my dude?
So question is, like, I agree that you definitely, it's important to be high, but at some point you will price yourself out of the market. Like, you can't just charge $700 an hour for cleaning. So how would you go about determining where your lid is, or where you're willing to say, like, hey, I want to do this, and that now I'm recognizing that my market is now shrinking because I am now charging more. So I guess, how do you figure out what your top end would actually be?
So understand that you could charge $700 for cleaning, but what are you going to do for it? Like, you don't just do the same thing and charge more money for it. It's like you provide more value. So if you're willing to, like, what else are you willing to do for $700 per clean? Are you also willing to do laundry? Are you also willing to do dishes? Are you also willing to take their trash to the road? Are you also willing to organize? Like, so I think it's more of like a creativity block.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I say that mainly as, like, I'm not saying to do any of those things, by the way. I'm just saying that we're only limited by what we're willing to do versus how much we're willing to charge. Like, if we're only willing to clean, then yes, I will confirm you by saying that there is only so much that you will command for just a cleaning service by itself. Does that make sense? But if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be creative, and you have other skill sets that you have that you can also, like, blend together, which is back to the analogy that I gave earlier of, like, I was charging $99 a month for just basically group training. And then when I also paired nutrition, accountability, a guarantee, I was able to charge 5 times as much. But it didn't take me any more time. I just was able to, like, put these other things into an offer that had a higher perceived value.
Okay, that makes sense if you want to grow it. If you were just starting out and just starting with, hey, we just want to do cleaning, we want to do high quality cleaning,
100%.
Do you have a recommendation on how to, I guess, because I mean, it's easy to be like, well, I want to pay people $30 an hour, but I know that that's simply not affordable, in our market. And so that's where I was kind of going is so adding value makes a lot of sense. And I think that's, like you said, a creativity exercise. But curious about, if you were just starting and you're just doing something basic, what, is there, is it just calling around and seeing what other people are charging, or what? I mean, is that, any advice on that in that level?
Why don't we actually just walk through this process with you as well? So I think this would be helpful. So if we take out this,
I'll do my best.
This manner of pricing calculator, like, how much do you want to make?
So just talking about it right now, we're okay with a monthly take home of 5,000.
Taking home 5,000. Okay. Okay. And then what do you want to pay your cleaners? Like, what's a number that you're like, I feel like I could actually attract some quality talent in my area for this price? For this hourly rate.
I would go with $18 an hour.
Okay. Cool. And do you know what your average cleaner hours per week are?
32.
Great. That's good.
I have to ask my integrator over here.
Okay. And then, okay, so then how much are you charging right now?
We are currently charging $65 an hour.
Okay, yeah. So based on that, like, you could pay your cleaners more because you're charging $18 an hour, and you have room to go up. Our workers' comp is double what yours is. Well, there you go. Right. So then you have other factors.
We'll put those factors in. I'll grab the sheet and I'll put in those factors for sure.
Yeah. So I think again, like, I think you were the one who put in the comments about the benefits. So, like, maybe you can make benefits make more sense if you're charging 65 and you have more margin, you can add more benefits to keep more people. So
Yeah, well, I mean, we're currently at like $17, I think. And we're attracting okay talent and we're retaining them okay. But
Yeah.
but that's kind of where we're at right now. And so where are you guys that your workers? I'm in Washington State, for those who are curious. So we
Cool.
don't get to shop for our workers' comp. That is a state mandated
it's a
fee
state thing.
that we have to pay. So ours is 6%. For our liability and workers' comp. So we don't get to adjust that, unfortunately. And our
That's actually
state
the
minimum
way
wage is just
that
turned to $16.25 an hour. So
nice.
so
Yeah. Montana is actually that way for your first year in business, that you have, it's a state fund. And then after your first year, then you can get a private workman's comp, but at your first year, they make you go to the state. So I know what you're saying on that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and the benefit, because we've been talking a little bit about insurance and offering benefits to people. And one of the things is that one of the benefits of Washington State is Washington State has a state insurance, and we've actually found that benefit is significantly better than anything we could find on the private market. So that's already helping us, is that because we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about being competitive in that market.
Yeah.
So no one's going to steal people from us because they're offering benefits, because everyone's offering the same benefits, which is kind of nice in that regard there. But yeah, no, I'm going to be interested in playing with this calculator. We also, I mean, we're also, we provide vehicles, so our overhead is high. But I'll plug all that in, to our stuff.
Cool.
We'll go from there. But thank you.
Awesome.
I appreciate you taking the time.
Logan, do you mind if I hop in here?
Please.
So I think to answer your question, like further, you asked like, how do you choose what to actually like start charging? And I think you actually nailed, like what we did when we started was we called around and we went like just a couple dollars higher than what our competition was doing. And then as we got confident in being able to provide a valuable service and receiving feedback from the marketplace as to how we can improve, then we started slowly increasing our price. And now we're anywhere from $10 to $15 higher per hour than any other company in our town. And our books are full, but there's a reason, because we provide more value than any other company in town.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And we actually just hit, I think we hit 71 reviews today. So we're pretty happy about that. And so I think that's good. Not to take up everyone's time here, but when you changed your price, what did you do with your original customers? Did you change them immediately, or is that a phase in?
No, we never adjust anybody. Everybody they get their OG pricing. As long as they stick, they get their OG pricing. And then if they leave and come back, then they pay the new price.
Like it. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Katie.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, thanks, Gary.
Thank you guys.
That's great. Yeah, I think there's also something to be said about being different phases too. So we've now, we do $100,000 a month. And so now we're actually making the transition to optimize. So like we're in the process of upping our rates again, and with anticipation that we're going to lose customers, but we're going to be more profitable. And so we have such a demand that if we lose customers, it's actually okay. Like we'll make more money by losing customers. Different phase, right? So it's like building it, and now we're in the process of optimizing it. So, and in our market, but I think this is actually something that I've seen consistently in many other markets, is that the demand exceeds the supply, which means that like there's people in here more have the problem they can't fulfill the service rather than they can't get the service. Now, I'm not saying that's with everybody, but part of a percentage, there would be more people who just are looking for be able to fulfill their cleans rather than like, I just always need more cleans. Right. And so with that being said, like we as the people who control the supply have a lot more control of our prices than we think we do. So cool. All right, Katie, any other questions that you see there, or anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah, somebody just asked, how do you provide more value than anyone else in your town?
Yeah, this is really good. Katie, you want to start it, or you want me to start it and then you finish
Go
it?
for it. You start it, and I'll chime in.
Okay. So the value equation. This is what I reference when I was thinking about this idea of like how do you provide more value. So inside Alex's book, Unreal Offers, he explains what the value equation is. So the value equation is a function of how likely you are to achieve something, the speed to which you are able to get the result. I don't know why I'm blanking the other two. Let's see if anybody can help me out here. Anyway, there's the value equation that I always come back to, and it's Alex's book. But
Effort.
level of effort, right? Time delay, effort, sacrifice, dream outcome, right? So everybody offers the same dream outcome in the cleaning industry. We'll clean your house, you'll do nothing, basically, right? Effort, though, is one of those things that, like, how much effort do they have to do? And so when you're so there's between like a solo cleaning company versus a professional cleaning company is that the amount of communication that somebody gets is going to be far less when you're a solopreneur, because you have all you're doing is cleaning all day, and then you're like in between there, you're trying to get people to buy your cleaning service, or you're trying to do some support in between now and then. So your ability to actually, like, the communication is a value add, that if you have somebody in the office that anytime that a customer has an issue, they can text somebody, they call somebody, and somebody picks up the phone, that's value. Okay, that's effort. Sacrifice. What does the customer have to do to get the dream outcome? So the easier you can make the process for the customer, the higher likelihood of the higher perceived value for them. So the one thing that is kind of funny, like that we do that was actually in our best interest too, is we don't do in-person estimates. We only do phone estimates. And you know what? Clients actually really like that too, because they don't have to book a time for someone to come to their house, to walk through their home and say, here's the price. How about you just tell me over the phone? And it's funny because it actually works for both parties so much better. And then time delay. How quickly can you get them in? So back to a function of speed. We have 19 cleaners on our team. So when somebody calls today and they say, can I get in? The likelihood of us being able to make it work is much higher than somebody who has one or two people, right? Unless your schedule's not full, right? But when you have more people, your ability to be able to fulfill the service is you're able to fulfill the service faster. And so if somebody calls in and they can get you in today or tomorrow, like that's valuable, right?
Yeah, I think Kenyon said it really well too. And I think knowing your avatar that is buying is the most important thing, because the avatar that is buying is not, it's not you, it's not your wallet. It is somebody who can afford it, who wants to actually have, like, they want to buy their time back. They want a clean house and not have to worry about anything else. So how can you like eliminate as many obstacles in that and solving that problem? Like, I will give you money, you will give me time and a clean house.
Yeah.
How can you more easily solve that?
Cleaning it's simpler, but it's more like a 1,000 things rather than just like one thing. Like, there's not just one thing you do to provide value in cleaning. It's like, how do you do all the 1,000 BBs, as we call them, to provide value? Also, one of the highest value things you can do is you can just show up when you say you're going to show up. Which honestly is super hard. Like, I'll tell you that. Like, that is one of our biggest challenges to provide value to our clients, is just do what we say we're going to do. That's it. Like, even with 17 full-time cleaners who average 20 hours a week, like, it's still difficult. It's like just following through, just doing what you say you're going to do. Yeah. Harris says, how do you go about being off on an estimate? Okay. How do we take care of that?
Yeah, so on the initial sales call, we always tell them that we quote sight unseen. So given the information that they provided, this is the quote. If it is outside of that quoted range, we call them and we let them know. Sometimes it's under, sometimes it's over. Most of the time, it's within the range. And when you set the expectation that it could be off, when they get the phone call that it is off, they're not alarmed. But the importance is setting that expectation on the front end that it is sight unseen. And then you have the conversation when it is off, like, what are their priorities? Do you want to stick within the budget and we complete what we can? Yeah. Okay. Well, then what do you want us to complete? Like, what is your top priority? If you're okay busting the budget and increasing the budget and complete the clean, great. We're estimating another 4 hours. That'll be X amount.
Yeah. Bethany asks, if you don't raise prices for existing customers, how do you handle those cleans for the cleaners when you raise prices? It's all based on revenue. Yeah. Yeah. So we're only paying a revenue share with the cleaners, which means that if they're old JTH prices, then they would make less on that house than they would on a new house. Yeah. So Katie, is that ever a problem? Do people ever complain about houses being different prices or that they don't get paid as much?
No, that has not been a problem to this point. The only problem I've ever ran into is that a house is too dirty. Not about pay. It's only about the actual state of the house.
Yeah. Do you give them an hourly price or do you give them a price for the job to be done? This is on the quote, I believe.
Yeah, so the job to be done. We don't quote hourly 99% of the time. The only time we quote hourly is if like it's a very particular job and someone's really picky and it's basically an a la carte clean. Then we just pay by the hour.
Yeah. So if you guys don't have access to the pricing calculator, the pricing calculator is what we use. Again, that's inside the masterclass. It's under the sales section. Use that pricing calculator. What about services like laundry, taking out trash? What are your thoughts on that, Katie? Like as added services?
Yeah, we definitely include anything that the client wants us to do in the service. But understanding that it also takes time. So you also have to charge accordingly.
Yeah.
I think the biggest value adds that you can provide are actually not in the clean itself, ironically. I think the biggest value adds that you can add to a client is answering the phone when they call, texting them back immediately. Like those are things that other companies cannot do because they are in the field cleaning.
Thinking through the mind of a cleaner rather than the mind of the client. Yeah. Do you price maintenance cleans in tiers just like deep cleanings?
No, not really. Kind of. Yes. Depending upon how the first clean went is essentially how we price the maintenance clean, but it's pretty much flat across the board. It's on the quote calculator. And honestly, you guys, the quote calculator, like for anybody who consumes anything that Logan and or I put out there, it is simply what has gotten us to where we are at. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't really give a crap if it's right or wrong. It is just what we have used. So if it doesn't work for you, it's okay. If you want to change things and make it your own, go for it.
Yeah.
But it is simply what we have done to get to where we are. So is it right? No. Is it wrong? No. It's what I did. Just my disclaimer for today.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Do we got anything else on here? Any other questions you guys have? Do you guys get value from this? Was this helpful? Again, James, I think James just dropped the link, but we'll drop the link again for the the pricing calculator. Make sure you guys grab that. It's not going to be in the masterclass. Drop the link for the new masterclass. Anyone who hasn't gotten to the new masterclass, please drop that in there. Super helpful. Yeah. Yeah. And next week we'll have another training, and I have a really cool announcement for you guys next week. So I just dropped it to the Decking Today people right before this, and we got a bunch of people who are applying. So I'm not even sure there's even going to be any spots for you guys. I'm not even joking, but if there is, I will. At least not for this month. Maybe next month there'll be some spots. But I shared with them kind of our plans for 2024 as we go into the new year. We've been working behind the scenes for a couple months, and think about how we can provide more value. How can we help? And yeah, these trainings are fun. I think a lot of people get value from it. And we're just going to offer a way that if people want to have, if they want guaranteed growth in their business, and they're willing to go, they're willing to do what's required, we want to help you. And so I'll share more next week. But for anyone who's looking to get there faster, to have somebody help you who's already done it, and is a good human, and who's fun, and who's fun to be around, and will fit into the community. I'll share more next week. But I appreciate you guys so much for being on here, and have a wonderful rest of 2023. We'll see you guys next year, and have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Go get the new masterclass.